So I want to go through some list methods because I want you to know these and use these in our sandbox today. If you need to go back and refer to these, don't forget that there's a function reference linked from Canvas that will show you all of these list methods. In fact, this is taken directly from that function reference. So we have append, that's the one we talked about. It adds an item or items to a list. So you can append a list to another list. So if I do this, it's going to add these three items to the original three items. Or I can just add one item. Clear removes all the elements from a list, takes no parameters. Copy creates a copy of the list. Now, this seems confusing sometimes because I think a lot of people just want to do this. You don't want to do this because those two remain linked. So what you would want to do is this. If you wanted to create a copy of that second list or a copy of this first list in a second list, you would want to use the copy method and assign it to that variable. That creates a separate, completely unattached copy. Doing it like this appears to make an unattached copy, but when you go to modify this first list, it will impact this one. So you want to use copy instead. Count will count how many values have a specified value. So it will return an integer that tells you how many times, in this case, apple, banana, cherry, how many times cherry appears in that list. And it has to be an exact match to the string you provide. Okay, so extend. It works in the same way, but it's intended to use another list. But you can use append for the same thing. There's no advantage to one or the other. Okay, index returns the position of the first occurrence of the specified value. So if you want to find out where cherry is in the apple, banana, cherry list, you say fruits.index and you give it cherry, and it'll tell you which slot cherry is in or what the index is. That's the one I was talking about earlier. If you've done something to change the shape of your list or change the index, then you want to find out where that is. That's how you would do it. Append is going to add an item to the end of a list. Insert allows you to tell it which index you want to insert something at. So if I have a list called apple, banana, and cherry, and I want to insert orange into that list, but I don't want it to go at the end, I want it to go in the second spot, I would use index 1 and then orange. So let's just take a quick code view of that. Okay, so if I say AR fruit, insert, and then I'm going to give it the index that I want and the item. And then if I print that array, you can see here, it's going to put grape right at that index 1. And then it changes all of the indexes that are after that. This changes from 1 to 2. This changes from 2 to 3. So it re-indexes the rest of the list after that. So if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to, I'm going to sort this list, AR fruit, sort, and then I want to find out where the value is for the string line. I'll call that new index equals AR fruit index lime. And then I want to put grape right before lime. I'm going to use new index here. So what it's going to do is it's going to sort this alphabetically, and then it's going to say, where's the lime? It's going to put that index in here, and then I'm going to insert grape at that point, which pushes lime back one space. And then it's going to print that new array. So grape gets inserted right before lime. If I wanted it to be inserted right after lime, I could go fruit.index lime plus 1, and then it gets inserted right after lime. So this is where you start to get into logical thinking and logical structures of data and how data is put together, which is one of the things that I think is really interesting and fun about lists and data structures. Okay, we talked about different ways to delete or pop. This is another method. This is a list method. Okay, delete was a function. Pop is a list method that returns that value. Remove just takes it out. So you could just remove it. If you use pop and you don't catch it in a variable, it does the same thing. Okay, so reverse takes the whole list and reverses it, reverses the order. Some of you might be thinking, why do you need all of these different things? But you actually use them in working with these data structures, so they're good to know. Okay, sort. Sort is interesting because it sorts them alphabetically if they're strings. If they're numbers, it sorts them numerically. There is a keyword parameter here called reverse that is optional. And the reverse optional allows you to go from alphabetical to reverse alphabetical, or alphabetical descending order. If you leave this off, the default is true. Okay. Actually, the default is false. My bad. Default is false. So it will do it in ascending order. So A, B, C. If you choose reverse equals true, then it goes, B, C, or C, B, A. So the key allows you to create a function and assign that function that will return a number or return something that will give a basis for sort to work. So you can do things like sort strings based on the length of the string, or sort a set of strings based on the number of occurrences of the letter Z in the string. So you can get pretty advanced with sort. But if you leave all that off, it just sorts it in order from smallest to biggest.